Hi everyone, this is part two to our topic, our theme for September, which is about healthy relationships and healthy sexuality. Love, sex, and intimacy. Those really yummy and charged words. The juice of, I think about when I was growing up and what you know about intimacy. But what I knew about intimacy was everything that I experienced with my family and how they were and they weren't intimate. And I remember one day though in conversation, my mother and a group of adults, and I was just a little boy, and us kids were in the room, and all of a sudden she said something like, we don't talk about sex, politics, and religion and feelings in front of the kids. And they all got up and they went into the other room. And I thought, oh, something important just happened. And what I realized is the juice of love, sex, and intimacy is that connection that happens about disclosing the juicy stuff that makes up our lives. And these are the connectors. Love, sex, and intimacy are the connectors for us. And so if we're not in love with ourselves, if we're not sexual with ourselves, if we're not intimate with ourselves, if we're not in love with the earth, if we're not actually erotically kind of connected to the earth, if we're not intimate with the earth, if we're not in love with a partner or partners or all of our relations, if we're not having some kind of erotic, and I don't mean genital necessarily, but it may be genital expressions, if we're not having intimate expressions with partnerships, then we're probably really squelching down and suppressing our human experience of that which is the great connection. I love that the ancients, the Lakota tribe, have a word called all my relations. Metakioasin is what the word is. And metakioasin, all my relations, means I'm connected to everything in all of creation. That's an intimacy that is about an honoring and a connection of relationship that is juicy and alive and vibrant. I'm going to take you one more place while we kind of feed on this topic, and how does it apply to you and your relationships, and how you're assessing, what kinds of relationships are you in, and are they relationships that are really supporting you and making you all of what you can be or not. Marianne Williamson used to say something like, if you're in a partnership, the only thing that partnership is for you to tell each other how wonderful you are. So if you've lost the ability to tell your partner how wonderful he or she is, then you've really lost the juice of love, sex, and intimacy that can be had. Last little piece. As we frame this conversation, the Greeks had 4 words for love. And I'll just tell you quickly to frame our further conversation. But one was about agape. Agape was the love, the unconditional love from God, goddess, from all that is, from the bigger great spirit, the love that is the Chinese might call the universal chi, that which holds us kind of in the womb of creation. It has no condition to it. It's unconditional, and it's there for us. Nothing actually can separate us from that love except ourselves, and rejecting that or shutting it off because we've been hurt somehow. Philios is brotherly, sisterly, is that that love between friends that happens. So, just hanging out in the intimacy of friendship is that. Eros is the one we think of as is sex and the juicy passion that awakens and is alive for us, that feeds us and actually opens up our connection with the divine, with ourselves, with our bodies, with each other. And then Storge is the relationship between the love that's between siblings and parents and familiars that we have in our path that are close to us because if for no other reason we've chosen to come into these queer bodies, into this particular family, whether it's been healthy or abusive or whatever, but those connections. So we're going to play with some of all of this stuff as we continue the conversation, but I'd have you think about, so healthy relationships, healthy sexuality, how fed do you feel right now by the relationships that you're in? And how much do you feel that you're feeding the relationships that you're in with you are wondrously made, with you are wonderful, you are beautiful, you are the divine. Thank you and namaste.